for us. It doesn't wind up getting us things like local jobs and local hire. And it doesn't wind up yielding the types of buildings, the types of architecture that we deserve. That's going to lead to beautiful buildings, that's going to lead to open space. But we see that go on in 5 other districts. So it's a matter of working to partner with the community, keeping a collaborative spirit and keeping open and ready to work with people that are willing to bring projects here, and then finding ways in which we can work with the other council members so that our initiatives can get passed, so that we can get positive votes, and so we can get a real change in this community. We as a community right now are calling for change on so many levels. We are as a nation. And it's something that we absolutely can only accomplish by putting divisions of the past behind us and willing to work together with other people, with other council members, with our community groups, not just taking sides in battles, but looking to pull people together, looking for ways in which we can really create consensus, cohesion in our community and on our council and in our city.
Yeah, thanks for the question. I know as a former candidate, you appreciate the gravity of that question. I think that the dysfunctional culture of city council right now is hurting the entire city. And I know that I'm one of those people that believes that you can work with just about anybody if you've got a common agenda, a common set of values and principles that you can work on. I think most people on city council care about the thing, that they want to do the right thing. But I think what happens is in our democracy, we've allowed democracy to sort of bubble up during elections, and then during the rest of the year, it's sort of like the same set of folks who show up at city council meetings that advocate on their own specific issues. So there's no real coherence, there's no culture around it. You ought to be able to get, more often than not, if you have a progressive agenda, if you have an agenda around sustainable development, about approaches to public safety, so that every council meeting isn't this jockeying for votes as if you didn't know what people cared about. It takes a lot of communication. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of courageous leadership. And it also takes keeping our constituencies connected. One of the ideas, and this is a relatively novel and untried idea, but I think given our technology and how we operate, it could happen. Most of you who pay attention to city council know that city council meetings are televised live. If most of you, I know you're so serious about stuff, you don't watch American Idol. But on American Idol, the viewers get to weigh in, right? What if at every city council meeting there was an agenda that was published on the internet, there was a user-friendly agenda, and you knew what the big issues were that night, not the consent calendar necessarily, but the big issues. City council debates it, and then there's a break between that debate and a vote. And you could then weigh in by internet or 800 number and say, in District 3, here's what we think about this issue tonight. It would be really interesting, because I think that you would see a different kind of vote happening if I, the city council person, could say, well, 75% of the people in my community said yes, they want to see inclusionary voting. If you did that for every council person, they'd have to be a little bit more accountable. And we have the technology actually to do that. It's not that tough. So I think it's the kind of approach to re-democratizing the process that we got to begin to take a look at.
I've been on the council for 11 plus years, and my colleagues call me the conscience of the council. Even if they don't agree with me, they admire the fact that I stand up for what's right and I tell the truth. And that is the basis of our relationship. The reality is, in any kind of a legislative body, you have a broad range of views. People are elected from their different districts, different people have different ideas of what they want, and as much as we would like District 3 representation to be the same as the representation for District 5 and District 7, so that we all thought exactly alike and would vote in harmony, it just doesn't happen that way. Compromise and is absolutely part of the whole package. And so as a council member, I have sought to work with the other council members on issues that I knew that we have some commonality on. And I often ask them to co-sponsor bills with me. For example, I take my position on the council as a woman very seriously. When we have two women's health clinics in my district, which are being demonstrated against, I think it's very important for us to make sure that women have access to to reproductive health care without harassment. And so I introduced a bubble ordinance with two of my fellow council women, and it passed, and we are now beginning to implement that. Similarly, when there are environmental issues, I know that which council members will be interested in co-sponsoring that with me. And as we co-sponsor, we also bring in the other votes. That's the way you get votes done. There's no magic way to suddenly bring consensus to people who have years and years and years of very different thinking. There are ways to start talking to them. I'm always open to talking to them. I speak to every one of my colleagues and have maintained good working relationships with all of them, even though we have some very different